I don't know. I don't know anything. No, I just threw that out. He usually calls when he needs something, and so he usually wants some kind of football or poster signed or something that he's got a buddy of his that'll sell on eBay or something. I don't know what he's got going, but he's got some kind of a plan. But when he calls, it's usually because he needs something.
I kind of got a constant theme, and I know it's a little early. But this senior class, you had some very good senior classes already in your career here. But talk a little bit about, it's not a huge senior class necessarily.
Right.
Talk a little bit about these guys as a group.
Well, they're going to have an opportunity to win maybe more games over a 4-year period than anybody, Kevin. So I would think that's pretty special in itself. I'm trying to go back, 11 last year. The year before that, they won 9. I don't know, the year before that. So they've had a minimum of some 9-win seasons and an 11-win season, which is difficult to accomplish. But I think more importantly than anything, what we ask our players to do is to leave some sort of mark on the program and the players that are younger than them, and they've done that. They've been class guys. If you go down the list, they're class individuals. There's been a few of them that made some mistakes, but they've corrected them. They've done better. And so that's all we can ever ask of them. Life's not easy and life's not perfect. And at this age, sometimes they don't make the best decisions. But for themselves and for the program and for Oklahoma State, I think they've been great ambassadors. And that means as much to us as a coaching staff as anything. Because in recruiting, it never fails that we'll have 6 or 8 of the parents of the 16 or 18 that we sign, that they'll be more concerned with our players and how they've handled themselves here than they will be with X's and O's or how soon their son's going to be able to play. And they've done a great job with that. And I have to give a lot of credit to the way they've handled the development of our team over the last few years, because history will tell you in college football, if you look over the last 20 years, teams that have done what we've accomplished what we have here and gone like this, there's been some unfortunate off-the-field issues, because human nature is to get to thinking that you're entitled to something and you're bigger than the game, knock on wood. Our guys have done a good job with that. And so I give them a lot of credit for that and handling things the right way and taking what we hope to provide them, which is leadership, and then buying into it and buying into the program.
Coach, there was only 3 penalties for 35 yards on Saturday, and it seems like since the A&M first half of A&M, there hasn't been that killer penalty that's killed a drive or thrown you guys in a tough spot on defense. Can you talk about the discipline of this team and how few penalties they've had this year?
I'm impressed with our team in that area as much as anything, because we were poor in the A&M game. We just about took ourselves out of the game with penalties. Fortunately, we were able to get it rolling in the second half. And since that point, we've stressed the importance of not giving away free yards. At times, there's going to be some penalties, but what we went through at A&M is not acceptable. And so we approached our team with that. We discussed it, and they bought into that. Our players have done a good job with that and have made better decisions. And obviously all those things tie into being a disciplined football team. And we feel like that in order to continue to get better and better around here, we have to improve in areas that we feel like that we can make adjustments based on our personnel, be a disciplined football team, and continue to recruit quality people that will be better players than the ones we have in place right now.
Coach, as far as recruiting goes, how much does it help to go down to Austin, College Station, and Lubbock and all get wins down there?
Well, all your wins help, but we get a number of players from the state of Texas, and so they follow the game, and it always helps when you win. And if you're going to win somewhere where you're going to have a chance to recruit, and it certainly works to our advantage when that rolls around in January.
Looking back at the game, we had a 2:30 kickoff with the sun beat down in the student section. You had 2:30 at Texas and 11 at Missouri, and now you have another early one at Texas Tech. I mean, it seems like the scheduling gods are kind of smiling down on your offense and not letting the crowd get out there at the tailgate.
We would prefer to play a day game. I would prefer to play all-day games. Television at times has a different way of looking at that. So we like to play during the day. I think the players enjoy playing during the day. You wake up early on game day, and your mind kind of starts spinning, and it's going to stay that way till you kick it off. So we enjoy getting out there and playing earlier in the day and getting after it, and that's what they like to do. So we're happy to play in the day.
Special teams gave up a few extra yards on kickoff returns, but on the flip side, Quinn Sharp was great when you guys could get in the end zone and score touchdowns. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
We wish we could have covered better. Now, we returned the ball a number of times out to the 36, 38, 40-yard line ourselves, so our return game was pretty good. If you take away their one big return, then what would be two good return teams basically battle to an even draw. They won that area because they had the long one there. Now, in our punting, we were good. We downed the ball on the 1 yard line or the half-yard line, and we were able to get a fumble and score off that. So, as I said after the game, I gave them the edge in special teams. When I sit down and in my mind I thought about how things went. But I mentioned this morning on my teleconference that Quinn is really good for us. I think everybody's aware of that. I mean, I think he's probably the best kickoff guy in the country. He's been good in PATs and field goals for us, and he's been good in punting, especially in the last few weeks. He's done a better job of downing the ball inside the 15. So he's a very, very valuable part of our football team.
Was that kickoff return late in the game, was that the most disappointing part of the game when you go back and look? That's not just give up a long kickoff return. At that point in the game,
Yeah.
someone gave really big.
It is, and there's several things you look at that are disappointing, but when you take a college football game into account, when you play good teams, they're going to make some plays also. The reverse, you'd hate to give up the big one on the reverse, and but if you look at it from their side, I'm sure they hated to give up some of those passes, but I would agree with you that at that time we certainly would have liked to have tackled them down inside the 30 somewhere and made it more difficult. Would have applied a lot of pressure on them, or put a lot of pressure on them.
Where's your worry meter at on injuries right now? You have Jeremy, Coop, and
Well, I worry about those guys all the time, but we should get most of these guys back in the middle of the week. And when you have an injury like Coop with, he's got a ham that, he could be back Wednesday, and I honestly thought he was going to play in the last game, but it was a little tight, so we set him out. Jeremy's doing better. I mean, so, we know a lot more about where we'll be from an injury standpoint in Wednesday's practice than where we're at now.
what does it say about your receiving core that when Coop's out and Tracy Moore steps up in such a big way?
Well, we've been fortunate that I mentioned this early in the year that we had a number of skill guys that can make plays. It's a lot more fun when they're all out there, but we've been a little desolate the last week or two or 3 weeks with some guys not being in there, but the other guys have had to play more, and we're getting some play out of Isaiah. We're getting some play out of Josh Stewart. Getting some play out of obviously some really good play out of Tracy.
Is this what you envisioned for Josh Stewart coming into the year, kind of give him more playing time as the year went on, or is this injury? He just kind of has to.
I think both. I mean, obviously he's going to be more of a factor because of guys not being in there, but he's gotten quite a few reps during the season, and one thing that he's done is he's played well when he's had an opportunity to touch the football.
With Hubert gone and with Cooper out, are you guys playing a lot more snaps in games, more than you would like, or are they to the point where they can handle that pretty well?
More than I would like, because I like them all to play about 35 or 40 so they can play fast. But they're averaging about 12 more each than what we would have wanted them to. But a couple guys go out, and that's what happens.
How is that going for you?
Well, they've played fine. But the concern you have, or the concern we have, and based in our thought process and how we figure all this in the formula we have, is that how that's going to affect them 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now down the line. You only have so many steps and hits and things you can take during the season and continue to perform at a high level. So they're being extended a little bit more now than we'd want them to, and hopefully they'll be able to hold up for the remainder of the season.
Is Markel Martin playing at the level you hope?
Yeah, Markel Martin's playing good. I think that he's probably missed more tackles than he would have wanted to at this point. And he's played better in the last couple games. He went through a span there where we didn't think he was tackling as good as he wanted to, and of course he agreed with us. Sometimes guys go through that when they get late in their career, but Markel's got a great attitude and a great approach, and you know he takes things like that personal, and he's been a good leader for us.
Is facing a quarterback like Seth Diggy, who's a little more pass happy and he's not going to take off and scramble, does that make it easier on you guys or tougher for you?
You know, that's the catch-22. You know, they're built around the throw, and the last guy we played was built around, if it's not there, take off and run. And so you have both of them. You know, some guys, you worry about them scrambling and getting a first down, then some guys will sit in there till the last second and dump it off. So I think it's just based on who you're playing.
In the old days, when you played Tech, you'd think, oh, Tech week, you know, defensive coaches on edge and never seen anything like it. Has the league progressed to where Tech is sort of the mainstream? And when we played Kansas State, the single wing, that's the week that you have really no idea what you're in for.
Yeah, they're in the minority now. And so more teams in our league have some sort of a spread attack. So what would from this year, a Texas and a Kansas State's approach would be now the different group or the different attack compared to what we'd see 5 years ago.